Yo, you're off in God's country with Reid
and Dan Isbell,
also known as the Brothers Hunt, where we take a weekly drive to the intersection of country music and the great old outdoors. Those things that go together, like a size 24 shoe and Shaquille O'Neal.
or his foot, technically, or illegal taxidermy and birds of prey.
His foot is him, though.
That's what I'm saying. Produced by MeatEater and iHeart Podcasts.
We're going to sit down with Drew Holcomb, and I'm pumped about this one, man. I'm a Drew Holcomb fan. Great songs. Dude loves sports. He loves golf.
Massive following, and not even really on the commercial country scene. He just makes great songs. People love his music, and he's tucked into the Americana world, and people love him, and I get why.
Yeah, absolutely. Great songwriter, great dad, great dude, great hang.
Great podcast.
Y'all are going to love this one. Be sure to check it out. And thanks for hanging out in God's country.
So as an artist, how many pairs of jeans do you have?
Well, I mean,
In rotation. In rotation.
Yeah. Well, there's this guy in Tupelo, Mississippi, who makes these jeans called Blue Delta.
Ooh, maybe the ones I have on right now. Maybe.
Well, which is hilarious because I'm not wearing them right this second. So,
Those are your favorite? Those are your
well, so I got them somewhere. Somebody gave me a pair, and then we had a show in Oxford, and his shop is right across from the venue, the Lyric Theater. And he came to the show, and he was like, "Hey, you want some more jeans?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "I'll give you whatever." So he's giving me probably 15 pairs of them.
Wow.
And so that's pretty much all I wear, especially on stage.
This is the only pair of jeans that I own, and I wear them 3-4 times a week. Blue Deltas.
I mean, do you wear nothing the other 3 to 4 days?
Just jogging pants.
Yes.
There's many a days that you can roll up to Dan's house and just like surprise him. And he's what just happened?
I just got way too big of a drink of coffee.
And he'll just be like in a t-shirt with, and like everybody else in his house will be clothed, but Dan's just t-shirt and
yeah, kids kind of
boxers.
ruined that for me, but I guess they don't want to see their dad walking around
feel
without
that.
clothes on.
Well, mine don't have a choice, so be glad that you're not one of our kids.
What happened to your Joe's love? I thought you loved the Joe's
I
jeans
did,
then.
but they just tear so easy, man.
Yeah, well, that's why there's holes all
well,
up in my
these
crotch
feel
right now.
just like Joe's now, except they don't. I hadn't crotch blasted them, you know.
I'm definitely at that point in my life where I have everything that from socks all the way to hats. If I have something that I like, I just go and buy like 6 pairs of it.
Same, man. Yeah,
And you're like, I'm gonna wear the same shirt, maybe in a different color.
Yeah.
For the next 3 years.
Yeah, totally. I hate buying clothes, man.
And on the road now, I literally wore the same jacket every night for the entire tour, and it was so great because I didn't have to think about it until 2 minutes before I went on stage.
Huh.
Just
grab it and go.
yeah.
What jacket is it?
It's like this old sort of 70s camo print jacket that I found at a men's store in Austin, Texas, and it's just like some random thing I found.
Camo goes with everything, dude.
Ain't no doubt.
Camo goes. I'm writing that today.
Everything.
Sounds like
Is your wife like, we got to get you more clothes? You always wear the same clothes?
No. I have plenty of clothes. I just don't wear them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this. This is my wife. She hates.
So how do you feel about his wardrobe?
She hates my wardrobe. I wear the same thing, but it's also like what I mow the yard in, I wear to work.
Yeah.
And I wear around town, and that kind of thing. Like I just like have clothes. I don't have specific clothes for specific things. I just wear the clothes I got for whatever I'm doing.
Well, I feel like, guys, it's pretty easy to be a guy because the style has been the same for like 200 years. It's like pants, shoes, shirt.
For sure, absolutely. Hat.
Except when it comes to our hobbies.
Yeah.
Like my wife makes fun of all the golf shirts.
Yep.
And then she's like, you have 6 fishing shirts and you went fishing 1 time last year. I'm like, but what if I went this different kind of fishing?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Or this.
Dude, fly fishing
She's like,
shirt.
are you wearing this orange shirt for? I thought you were going hunting. I was like, well, I'm going duck hunting. She's like, so you don't wear the orange one? I'm like, well, no, because the ducks can see the orange. She said, well, who doesn't see the orange? I'm like, well,
Dear.
well, actually, I mainly hunt quail with orange stuff. She's like, so the quail can see orange? I'm like, well, that's so the guys don't shoot me. She's like, well, the duck guys don't shoot you with orange. Like,
just stop talking. Just stop talking.
Doesn't make any sense.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're wondering who Another artist voice, man.
Sounds good,
solid
dude.
artist voice on the couch.
Sounding human.
Talking, singing is we got Mr. Drew Holcomb with us this morning, man.
Hey, everybody.
Looking good, looking like an artist coming in.
Sounding like one.
Yeah, he's got his head's busted up a little bit.
busted up
I was getting out of a Sprinter van, and you know they got that huge Mercedes logo on the back.
Huge.
Well, half the logo goes out about 3 inches past the door
true.
frame.
That's what got you.
And the physics, I was planning on the regular door, not the extra 3 inches.
You got to have 3 inches of clearance.
And man, it clocked me right in the head. It just absolutely took me out.
We can see.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
see.
So
That hurts me.
I've got a
man.
little mild concussion this morning.
Dude, I was getting out of a van. Where were we? And I was the guy that on the end of the bench that had to get out first. You know, and it didn't have the step down. It just had the go. And man, I was trying to get out in a hurry because I caught.
Oh, they caught the top.
Yeah, and I got this furrowed brow thing. So like it's almost like a hook. Like it just. So I hit it, man, and it pushed my head back into my neck, and it was like, and then somebody was like, "What about that hurt?" I was like, "No, I'm good." And really, I hurt like the rest of the night, just all the way back, dude. Those vans are not made for
humans.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do like that they extended the height. I mean, when we all were like young and touring and riding around, there was the old school church vans.
See, that's what this is. This what this
Oh,
was.
like the 12
pre-Sprinter.
15 pounds.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
15 passenger? Yeah. Those things are tiny. Dan likes to say that his furrowed brow is not a genetic thing. It's from his football helmet in high school. Is why he says he's got
I
a
never
furrowed
say
brow.
that.
What?
I never say that. This is a caveman.
That's
son of a
BS. You
bitch,
always said that your furrowed brow comes from your.
I mean, there might be a chance it has something to do with it, but it's just kind of sad, like, you know.
Yeah. I have like this permanent indentation in between my eyebrows from sort of having a perpetual frown. And my mom's every time I have like promo shoots or whatever, she's like, "Why don't you ever smile?" And I'm like, "Mom, this is just my face. Like this is what I look like."
I see it
90% of the time. Like I do smile when something's funny, but
But if it's not funny,
it's got to be real funny. You remember that scene in Marley and Me, the dog movie that makes
I
everybody
saw
cry?
that a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. So there's this scene. He's a writer, and he gets bumped from being a reporter to being a columnist. And he turns in his first column, and it's Alan Alda's the editor, and he's like, it's supposed to be a funny column, and he's sitting there watching him read it, and he's got the editor's got this furrowed brow. And Owen Wilson starts apologizing. Never mind, it's not that funny. Just give it back to me. Yeah. And he looks up to Owen Wilson and he says, "No, this is really funny. This is some funny shit." But he never breaks. And my wife, we're on an airplane, and she's punching me. She goes, "That's you." It's like, yeah. I mean, that's funny. I'm laughing my ass off over here. But I have like a perpetual like frown dimple in my eyebrows because I've just kind of always, had that.
I think it's
just
more
like
like a perplexed look. I don't think it's frowny.
Thank
I
you.
mean,
I
It's just like
appreciate that.
it's like most.
That's what I'm going to tell my wife. "Why are you frowning at me?" "I'm perplexed."
Yeah, all the time. When you were showing us your noggin, you also showed us the scar.
Got a huge scar.
Tell us about
It goes
that.
ear to ear. So when I was 8 years old, I'm one of 28 cousins.
oh, I thought he was going to say
Kid, I
brother
thought
and
you were going
sisters. I was like,
kids, bro.
"Geez."
No,
that got me. That's pretty good, though. That's-
I mean, basically similar.
Yeah.
28. Holy.
So there were 4 boys, all 4 male cousins, all born the same year.
Okay.
So I was number 2, and so we hung out all summer long, all the time. And one day we got middle of June. I'm 8 years old. We get into my cousin's house and we find his dad's golf clubs and a big box of those plastic golf balls.
Yeah.
We're like, let's go to the front yard and get after it.
How old are you?
8.
Okay.
And I didn't see my cousin taking a swing, and I had hit my ball and I was running to go get it, and I ran right behind him. And that
Like follow through.
7-iron hit me right in the eyebrow and shattered my whatever this part of my skull bone is.
Your eyebrow bone.
Yeah, the eyebrow bone. And a piece of it was floating around inside my.
See, mine would never shatter because it's like
Well, it would have that. It would
like
have that
the
point. 'Cause you
heaviest
hadn't worn.
bone in my body.
You hadn't worn a helmet at that time, so it would have.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty caveman, dude.
So, anyways, I had to get a. They didn't want to like scar up my whole face to fix it, so they cut. It's called a craniotomy, I think. They cut you from ear to ear in like an M shape, and they peel it down and screw the bone back in there with these little tiny titanium screws and put it back. And then the worst part about it was I couldn't play the entire summer.
Yeah.
And it was like June 5th.
Oh,
So I had
At
to
8
be
years old,
inside.
8 years
It
old,
was
bro. That's
brutal.
all you wanted to do.
All I wanted to do was be outside. Instead, I was having to play Super Mario.
You're watching
3.
your 27 other cousins out there
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
games and having fun.
When I started going bald, I got really nervous about it. I was like, man, I'm going to look like Frankenstein.
it's a good look for you.
But it's all right.
You're a good looking bald dude.
Well, I appreciate that.
We
Came here to get that validation.
You got a nice
from you
head
guys,
for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
We,
it can go either way. You can have the hot dog head or like the wrinkly head. You're good, dude.
It doesn't work for some guys. It works for you.
yeah. Well,
my
it
head
has
looked
to work. It's what I got.
Maybe next time you get hit in the face with golf club, you can ask them to fix your perplexing ditch.
Yeah.
You might as well 2 for 1.
Like
Yeah,
this,
get a
just to
little
have them do like
extra.
this. So
There's
it's
another
like
little
curious
scar.
instead of mad.
You see the other one right above that?
Yep.
That's from fireworks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What age was that?
that was 11.
Okay, come on,
You know
just,
those
let's
big, those huge bottle rockets?
Yep.
Like the bottle rockets on steroids?
Yep.
Yep.
So my cousin
The big
and I-
red stick.
Yeah, the big
that's-
red stick.
yep.
So I light one and I throw it and I'm waiting. And I'm behind my mom's like big van. And it doesn't go off. And it's been like 30 seconds. So I just like, I'm going to go look and see. I peek my head around the corner and there it is. Coming right at me.
at full
speed. Bounces off my head, goes and explodes up high.
Bro, that part of your
It's
skull is
taking
taking
some
Your head is
shots,
taking
man.
some
Yeah,
shots.
yeah.
Like recently
So I
and
made
all the way
these
back.
poor decisions to become a musician. So, anyways, my grandfather, I grew up 7 doors down from my grandfather, and he was a surgeon. And so, whoever was watching us, mom or babysitter was like, "Hey, Grand Chubby, come down here." His name was Chubby. It's a whole other story.
Awesome.
Grand Chubby?
Yeah.
That's an awesome name.
So we go to his office, and he gives me like 2 or 3 stitches, and then like a week later, I go to. He was retired basically. He went in like 1 day a week at that point. So I go see his partner, my uncle, and he's like, "Man, these war docs." Because my grandfather was a World War II doc. He's like, he should have given you 8 stitches. He gave you 2.
Yeah.
So I had this huge scar for all of my childhood
Where'd you grow up?
in Memphis.
Oh, wow. We're
Yeah.
from Savannah.
Oh, really? Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what part of Memphis?
I grew up just right outside of, I grew up near Overton Park when I was little, and then we moved to Germantown, and we moved back into Memphis, kind of right near Poplar 240,
Okay.
where the random Tall's round hotel is.
Okay.
No,
No, but
anyways, it's like right in the heart
Dude,
of
we used to, our dad's a pastor. I don't know if you knew that, but of course you didn't know that. So we would do like Bible drills,
Yeah.
and the state drill was always at Bellevue.
Oh yeah.
And we used to think Bellevue was
We called it Fort God.
that is the perfect. It was.
It had 2
That's
nicknames
what it was.
in Memphis. It had 2 nicknames: Fort God and Six Flags Over Jesus.
And I remember going, I would occasionally, I gotta be honest, man, like I lied a bunch in Bible drill. Like I could find
I cheated all the time.
I
I
could
lied in Bible drill.
I did.
There's
And
a
then they
song
would
in
call
that.
you to read the verse, and you would just be like, Acts 1:8, go you therefore, and then be like, no, step back. And I'm like, dang, you have to step back, because that was the only one you really, I would just
and
memorize
there's
one,
there's
and
added
then-
pressure because you're the church kids,
Oh.
or the preacher kids.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like you're supposed to. If you don't know that stuff, bro, you feel like you're
You're
going to
getting
hell.
shamed. Yeah,
like you
yeah.
feel like, well, I'm about to lose my salvation if I don't get this verse right.
Yeah, we're all tucked into Memphis. We used to play, oh gosh, man. The worst beatdown in a sporting event I've ever been a part of took place at Memphis AAU basketball. Dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Who were y'all playing?
My gosh. Orange Mound.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Ridgeway, they're all the same.
Ridgeway. We would occasionally beat Manassas at like at football.
Yeah. There was a tiny school.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. They only had about 80 kids a class.
That's probably why we occasionally win.
What'd you say, Orange Mound? Orange Mound was the team that in high school they gave the kids who ran like a sub 4.5 gold cleats, and the whole offense had them.
them
Do you
Oh,
remember
my
going to
gosh.
that game?
Yeah, dude, I was
We
scared.
got
I was scared to death.
Crushed.
Well, that they had like that. I mean, Cedric Wilson, who was a
Yeah.
superstar at
Yep.
Tennessee, was the quarterback for Melrose, and they won a bunch of state championships over in my
Melrose.
Melrose, that's it.
Memphis, but
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, so I remember we were always intimidated going to Memphis, right? We would like beat all the people in our area and be like, yeah, we're awesome. And then we'd go to Memphis and just get crushed, right? So we go play Melrose. And I remember being a defensive end and like trying to swim move this guy. And he's just like, he was like 6'8", 375, just like hold me with one hand. Dude.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of good, like in my area. You know what I mean? Like competitive. And I just remember like, what are we supposed to do? And their quarterback would just drop back and just launch. Just
He'd throw it as far as he could.
as far as he could. And then when the goal clicked, it
catch
would just come right under it. So, but the one thing I remember them while we were out there, first off, I didn't know at the time, but it smelled like weed on the field. I could smell people smoking weed.
They were chiefing it under the bleachers.
And I remember the band going,
That's right.
and I was like, we were getting killed, and I was like, they're like,
This is kind of fun. I'm having fun.
and the linemen were up there, they were like,
Oh, dude, it wasn't a ball game. You were sitting there first round of the playoffs, and they were dancing on the field. That's why they beat teams by 4.
I remember there was
dog
this
piss
team
out.
called Munford. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
So Munford had this chant. I went to this little Christian school called ECS, and they would go, meat, potatoes, ECS and cornbread, meat, potatoes,
What?
ECS
What does that
and corn. Like they're gonna eat.
They're
us.
gonna eat you.
oh,
You're a part of the dinner.
You were,
Yeah, we were dinner.
You were, yeah.
That was their pregame warm up, and we were all like, "Oh man,
They're gonna
this
mix
is
you up
gonna-
with the cornbread
This
and eat
is
you.
not gonna go well. We're about to get waxed."
And you did.
And we did. I was probably the worst basketball player in Shelby County history.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, I was so bad.
But you love it, right? You love
I
basketball.
love watching basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Grizz. Love watching Ja. I mean,
Yeah, you still love watching John.
until he got hurt.
Yeah. Dude, while we're on basketball, tell us a little about the Ernie Johnson thing, man.
Oh man, it's a cool story. So maybe I don't know how many 3 years ago, I get a direct message on Twitter, which never happens.
Right.
Like you don't check that kind of stuff, it's coming from a verified account. So it's like, oh, this is Ernie Johnson. I was like, oh no, Ernie Johnson. He said, hey, you don't know me, but
It was actually Ernie.
it's actually Ernie. He said, you don't know me, but I have a story I'd like to tell you. Can I call you? Of course, as a sports fan, I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So he calls me, and this is all like public info, but he had lost a son about 6 months earlier.
Yeah.
Now this was their son had severe cerebral palsy. They
Right.
adopted him when he was 2 from Romania. He lived to be in his late 20s, and Ernie has a bunch of other kids and grandkids, and so he says, hey, I don't know if you know, my name's Ernie Johnson. Or for I'm like, yeah, Ernie, I know.
I don't know
you
if you
are."
know me.
Yeah.
I sit by Shaq.
I see on the TV a lot, you know. And he says, long story short, we have Sunday family dinners, and then we always had a dishes cleanup playlist, and your song "Family" has been our sort of favorite song.
come on.
And so when our son passed away, we decided we wanted to end the service with a family dance party on stage at the church, dancing to family.
Man.
And so I was just like crying on the phone. Well, and it was cool for me because I actually grew up with a special needs brother who passed away when I was in high school, who had spina bifida. And so I was able to kind of like say, hey, well, not only do I appreciate that, but I'm also like,
man.
I'm in this club.
Yeah, I feel that a
you
little
know?
bit, yeah.
And we hit it off, and he's come to see us play a few times. And then most recently, I decided to go for it. My son, who's 8, loves basketball. And I said, Ernie, can I bring Huck and watch a taping? And he's like, absolutely. Come on. So we go down there. And I'm thinking we're just going to get to like sort of meet the guys real quick. And
Wait, where's down there? Where'd you go?
Atlanta. It's they filmed the show in Atlanta live with with Shaq and Kenny and Charles Barkley, and they were all really sweet. But the best part, we walk in, there's like this kind of green room area, and Shaq walks in, and some of Ernie's grandkids are there too, and he's like saying hello to all of them. He sees my son, he looks
Shaq
at,
does.
yeah. Shaq points at him like this, and then he fingers like, come over here. And he's a giant in person.
Dude.
I mean, he's huge on TV. He's
absolutely.
even
It
more
doesn't do it
giant.
justice.
No,
Yeah.
I'm looking straight up at him,
Straight up?
Straight up. I mean,
like,
legit. Looking
Like he
up.
wears a size like 23. And if you've ever seen a size 23, it's literally like that big.
He's so big. And
What do y'all got? This is 11.
I'm a solid 10.
I'm a 14.
Yeah, you are.
Right, 9.5. So if this is 11, it's 2 of those?
Basically.
And you still don't know, like, until you have that shoe in here, you don't understand how big that is.
No,
man.
I would like to see that.
It's
I would like to
wild.
see
They
something.
say Shaq shooting free throws is shooting a softball. Like, that's how big a
So
basketball
he picks him up, picks up my son. He has not said a word.
How old is your son at this time?
He's
Like,
8.
Okay,
This is
I
like
want
3
to make
months
sure he
ago.
wasn't like 22 or something.
Yeah.
He can still do it.
Yeah, he probably still could. So he just picks him up eye level. And and sets him on the couch. And he goes, "What's your name?" My son said, "Huck." And he goes, "Puck?" And I said, "No, Huck, like Huckleberry." He goes, "Oh, Huckleberry." And he gives him a high five. And then later on, we go into the room where they film, and Huck is sitting in his chair before the show starts. And Shaq comes out and he goes, "Huck, get out of my chair." And he goes, I'm just kidding. He goes, "Hey, you want to learn a handshake?"
Come
So
on.
he teaches him a handshake.
Taps him up.
Yeah.
What
and
a
then
memory, dude.
It was amazing.
God, that is
son-
amazing.
My son is not very, he doesn't like get super excited. He's just a very like mellow kid. And he get in the car and he's like, "That was awesome."
Can you imagine?
No,
Just he like knew he could make it somebody's day, and he did it.
Yeah, man.
And that was cool.
that's real cool, man.
Yeah, it was really cool.
There's if you haven't watched, just go on Google and Google Ernie Johnson inspirational speech to the Alabama football team. Dude, it explains Michael's life, his adopted son from
Yeah, that's
Romania.
right.
And dude, he talks about like the value of life and how Michael, like, his big thing was "I love you too," and he couldn't really speak very well, but like he would hold us up and like do like this, and that was his whole. I think he's made a foundation now called Love You Too Foundation.
Yeah.
Ernie's a legend. I mean,
a
he's
legend.
just he's
Yeah,
a
he is.
he's
He's
a
done
great
such a
dude.
good job in these like very contentious times where people love to score cheap points on each other without having like real conversations. Of every time there's something hard, I like look to Ernie. I'm like, what does Ernie say about this?
Wow.
Because he does a good job of being human and complex and honest without taking cheap shots.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I think that's really hard to do nowadays. And I love him for that too.
Yeah, that's great. So Memphis, so you grew up. Did you do any duck hunting?
Oh man, duck hunting was life.
Really?
So my grandfather was a every day of the season hunter.
Okay.
And I lived 5 doors down from him. And duck hunting was just deeply ingrained in the blood. He was the sort of president of this duck club down in Tunica called Beaver Dam, which was pretty. It was like a historic place. His dad was best friends with a very famous hunting author named Nash Buckingham. Nash had a monthly
badass
column.
name.
Yeah, Nash had a monthly column in Sporting Life through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And then when my great-grandfather passed away, which is years before I was born, my grandfather became Nash's sort of hunting caretaker. So he would still take him hunting in his 70s and 80s. And so he was still a very relevant author at the time. And so my grandfather had like just a lot of sort of cachet and access around town. And he inherited the presidency of this old historic duck club called Beaver Dam.
Dang, that's cool.
So I grew up going to this place. I didn't know any different. It was just where we went. I didn't know that it was like had all this history and all this stuff. And it was great.
In Memphis or
It's in Tunica.
Oh, it's in. Okay,
Yeah, it's about 5-10 miles south of the casino. 10 miles south of the casino is 5 miles south of downtown.
so are you getting into Delta right there?
Oh yeah. I mean,
I mean that's flyway, right?
it's
That's
flyway.
like heart of the
you're
flyway.
6 miles from the Mississippi River.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're in the heart of the flyway.
Did y'all smash them?
We did. I mean, it was timber hunting where we had these makeshift blinds. You know, one of my favorite memories of my grandfather's. Every year we'd go find the new spot, clear out some brush, and build a little. He was like notoriously cheap, even though he was a surgeon. We duck hunted out of his like 20-year-old Lincoln Town Car.
Yes.
It smelled It smelled like dogs. He always said dogs. They always died young. He'd be like, I don't know why they're dying young. I'm like, well, you feed them scraps.
Right. You know, like they got bones lodged in there.
Yeah. But no, I know that you really miss Missy, but
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what happened
to her.
Right.
I want to know. I want to know some details on this Lincoln Town Car. So that's a big body.
it's a boat.
Yeah, it's the big body.
You
And
cut
there's
the
3
top-
seats
would you-
across the front, 3 across the back, so we could go 6 deep.
So he no trucks. He's like, forget it. We got
Now,
to.
he did have a GMC Jimmy, but he didn't like it, so he got rid of it.
But he would put the dogs and y'all and guns and ducks
pull the trailer.
waiter and pull the
Full
trailer.
John boat. Yeah.
Lincoln Town. That's a man. I would kill for a picture.
crickets.
Any pictures?
I
of
got to
that?
find I'm sure there are
Dude,
pictures.
I
that's
would
valuable
love
right there.
to see
And
a
then so-
bunch of
so-
ducks. Did y'all put them on the hood? And, like,
Oh,
take a
yeah.
picture?
Baby blue.
God, that's awesome, man.
So we had this.
I love granddads.
They're the best. And he had this set of keys that had like 600 keys.
Yeah.
Super heavy. No way they're going in a
Because
pocket.
there's every boat had a different lock and every engine had
Gate,
just the
yeah,
gate and this and that. And so he would roll up at he'd say, I'm going to pick you up at 4:45. which meant you better be outside at 4:40 because he's showing up at 4:40. And just 1 toot, and he expects you to be in the car within like 40 seconds.
Or he's out.
Or he's just like, he's not out, but he's mad.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of Bible drills, so the whole way there, he would tell stories about hunting, and the whole way home, he would talk about the Bible because he was like a Bible teacher guy as
Got
well.
it.
And but that was where you were allowed to do a little sleeping, on the way home.
Don't let him catch you.
Don't let him catch you. Yeah. But so you drive down, you drive Highway 61 right through the heart of South Memphis, and then it opens up into North Mississippi into Tunica, and you stop at this little, I can't remember the name of the gas station, but they had little sausage biscuits, and then, you get out and it was all paddling. There's this little duck boat that he had, or John boat, depending on how many of us there were, and you paddle out and get in the blind. It was mainly mallards and gadwall, a lot of gadwall growing up.
Is that a good eating duck? I can't remember.
It is. Yeah, it's a green duck. They're smaller than a mallard, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, my grandmother, she cooked a ton of duck and a ton of brim. He loved it. You could also fish the
Now you're talking our language, dude.
brim and crappie. I love catching fish, but I don't really like fishing. I don't like all the work involved with it.
I feel that.
But with him, it was pretty easy. Just put them in, pull them out.
Yeah.
Put 'em in,
Granddad's like to. My dad's the same way. Like with Bart nephews and our kids now. He's not going to take my nephews. Like my older nephews, he'll take bass fishing. But if it's like go catch fish, he's going to go throw an anchor on a brim hole and sit there with crickets, and you're going to catch 500 of them things.
Yeah, that's
granddad
what I
fishing.
love. Yeah, I love
Same.
granddad
I love
fishing.
that too.
Granddad fishing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, figuring out how to catch bass was never I just don't have the patience for it. I kind of feel the same about deer hunting. So duck hunting was, I duck hunted 30, 40 days a year from the time I was probably 11 or 12 until I moved to Nashville. And then Nashville's just not a great duck hunting.
No, it's not.
'cause part of the thing is in Memphis, duck hunting is so dependent on the weather. It's you're checking the weather the night before and you go, okay, we got a north wind, blue sky, let's do it,
Yeah.
And you get in the car at 4:45 and you in the blind at 5:45, 6, and you start shooting around 6:30. You're out of there by 9:30 and you're at work by 10:30 or at school. There were multiple times I would just do it and go to school an hour and a half late. And they would say, "What's your excuse?" I'm like, "My grandfather took me duck hunting."
Yeah, man. That's ours with my dad. We'd go deer hunting or fishing or something and show up late, and they were like, "What's wrong?" We're like, "Well, we've been fishing."
Yeah.
They're like, "You've been fishing this morning." I'm like, "I promise." We've been fishing for 2 hours.
Yeah, and it was sort of an understood thing that if you're with your dad or your granddad duck hunting, it's okay that you missed your first class.
Do you pull your kids out to do fun stuff?
I have to because of the travel.
Really?
Yeah, I take them out. I take my kids out of school. Like if I've got a festival somewhere that's really cool on a Friday, I'll pull them out. They'll fly out with me Friday morning. And
Do they get weird? Do their teachers get weird? We haven't really gotten to that yet. But our kids are still young, and
I think it depends on the school.
because we're late every day. And the thing about today is like I showed up today. It was like 8:50, probably 6, like 4 minutes. 7:56. It was not 8 o'clock, and they already had the orange cones out. And I'm like, man, I gotta go in.
You're like, that's not late.
It's not late.
I'm early.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so annoyed with it when I go in there. I'm like, I have to fill the thing. Do you have to fill the thing out? They make us fill the thing out.
Oh, when you're late. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, first off, so today
What's
when
the thing? What we fill the thing out? Like a form?
page.
Oh.
It's a computer, and it's already up, like name of child, person that brought them in, reason for being late.
Who's most ashamed?
Yeah,
Right.
and so today,
who's a shitty parent?
you know what I did today? On the reason, you know what I put? Not late.
Love that.
Straight up.
4 minutes
I was
early,
like,
actually.
not late.
Yeah.
Not late. What am I supposed to do? We're not late. It's 7:56.
Not late.
That's not late, bro. You just put the cones out early. I should have put the cones out early. Yeah, I just wonder how that works. Our dad pulled us out of school for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
If he killed a big deer, he
was kind of looking
Yeah.
for a reason, you know.
I definitely have the mentality that. I loved school. Honestly, I was a.
You loved school.
Yeah, I know it's weird. I didn't love high school. I loved college. I loved learning. I loved to read. Yeah, I was a bookish.
Same.
I didn't necessarily love everything about school, but I enjoyed learning. And
What about math?
I was good at math, but I hated it.
I hate math.
Yeah,
Reed's good at math.
I always had this teacher, and I got in this fight all the time because she's like, "You got to show your work. There's no way you got that." And I was like, "Well, just give me another one like it."
Ooh.
And then
I'll show you.
I'll show you.
And
how
I'll not show you my work. And
I'll not show you work. I'll show you the right answer.
What's up with math teachers being?
My guy right here. He knows.
I feel you.
What's up with math teachers being math holes, dude?
I don't know. I like the new math. The kids' math now, they don't just learn stuff. It's all in a story. You know, they're like
New math.
What?
the way they teach math now is different.
Huh?
Yeah, it's not like
Memorization.
it's not like 9 times 7 is whatever. Now they'd be like there are 9 people at the whatever. Each of them eats 6 hot dogs. How many hot dogs got eaten? So it's like
enough.
They enough. A lot of hot dogs. Yeah.
This is how big they are.
Joey was there. The guy.
It's about Tony's.
Yeah, 400.
400 hot dogs.
Yeah.
But it's more they do it. It's like narrative. They make math make sense to your brain. Like, why do you need to know what 9 times 6 is? Well, what if you need to do this?
Dude,
math problem?
I could have learned that.
Right.
I could have learned that.
Yeah, story form. Like you
Yeah.
can see it. It's like,
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
that's
do
great.
too.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, let's have a math quiz right now. I want to see who's the best between y'all at math. Ready?
Okay.
Say the answer as fast as you can.
Okay.
Wait, I don't know if it's going to be right. I'm not the one that needs to give this quiz. All right, let me think about it. It's not going to be like blank times 10. All right, I got one. This is the one I remember for some reason. 8 times 8.
64.
He won.
We were
All right. Best 2 out of 3. Best 2 out of 3. 9 times 9.
81.
Oh, that's a tie, right? Tie?
You only know the
I know.
just say something.
I know. I'm trying.
Try
I'm
2 different numbers.
Okay, shut up. I hate both of you.
Times 12.
Oh shoot. 111.
Yeah, dang. I was going 10 times 12 minus 9. No?
Yep, that's wrong.
Wait, 10 times 12 is 1. Oh,
No,
112.
9 times 12.
Oh, 113.
No. 108.
108.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How do y'all not know
120
that?
minus 12.
Oh, it's minus 12. I was going minus 9.
I didn't go 120 minus 9.
I did too.
See, we're not that good either.
Yeah, I guess not.
Okay, enough math. Wait, let's go back to
Go back to duck hunting.
Let's go back to your granddad for a second. Is this the same granddad that made his garage?
He's a taxidermist.
Get into that.
Okay, so my grandfather, I grew up in this world where I thought that people's houses were decorated with dead animals, like lots of them, because my parents had a bunch because my grandfather was a taxidermist. My cousins' houses all had a bunch because my grandfather was a taxidermist. So he was a surgeon, and he didn't have enough time doing surgery on people. He decided he wanted to do surgery on the stuff he killed.
Love it.
Sick.
So the coolest part was when he was in 1969, when my mom was in the 8th grade, he decided to take all of his kids and go live in Kenya for a year. And he was a surgeon.
I love this guy.
Yeah, he was amazing. So he's a surgeon. So he's like, I got this mission hospital was like, we would love for you. He had been supporting it as like a donor and decided, I want to take a year off and go.
Man, that's cool.
And he got all of his surgeon friends to cover his patients
stuff,
for that year. And so my mom spent her entire 8th grade year in Kenya. And so what he would do is he would do the surgeries like 4 days a week, and then he would hunt a bunch.
Kenya?
In Kenya. So this is back before. This is when Kenya's still allowed.
It's like a
hunting.
backdoor way to do some. Maybe I can go get my surgeon license. Or
Yeah,
something.
go
I
get
don't
some.
think you're going to pass.
What?
bro.
What are
I
you
don't think
talking
you
about?
got it.
I can do it.
I mean, we don't even know what 9 times 12
No,
is.
it takes 5
Y'all
minutes.
don't. I knew it was 108. I was like, I can't believe he's got
I knew it was
something else
108. So he had 2 rooms in his house. There was like they bought this house that had a 3-car garage because he wanted to make a space for all of his stuff. And so he converted a 3-car garage, and he did the taxidermy on birds and fish. He had an entire North American game bird collection in that 3-car garage. We're talking about
is
like
that
1,600 species.
1,600?
100 species. Yep.
There's 1,600 game birds in America?
Well, he didn't just have game birds, but he did have all the game birds. No, he did. He had an entire North American game bird collection. But then he also had lots of other species.
Like blue jays and robins and
whatever he could find.
Dude,
he didn't
that
shoot those, but
is
if he found a
awesome.
robin, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna mount that."
sick.
Your
So, but then
8-year-old
he had
self
this-
walking in.
He
just-
had this side room where he actually did the work that he added on. That was probably like 8 by 15.
Okay.
And in there, he had all the heads of the big game from Africa. So the wildebeest, he had a kudu, the
Eland.
onyx, the eland, and then he had a big Cape buffalo that he had shot.
Man, that is so cool.
And so, but he was he hunted he wrote a book about all his travels around the world hunting. He did all sorts of crazy stuff. But he just, if I wanted to hang out with him, pretty much I knew he was in there from 5 o'clock till dinner.
And you were just down the road.
Now, I was 6 doors down. So I just hop on my bike or walk down there and sit back there and watch him, mount a duck. And so I had, my first duck he mounted, the first banded bird I killed was.
Yeah, he couldn't wait to mount him.
Yeah, he loved it. And so it was just a very unique childhood because he's kind of like that. You ever see the movie Big Fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of like that. Like, he just had all these stories that you're like, okay, the mythology is pretty strong here, the self-mythology.
Yeah.
But then, like, this one story he had, one of his best friends raised these really high-end labs out of Memphis and trained him and was in all these shows and got invited to take his labs to the Queen's estate in England. It's a place called Sandringham. And so they do a big, 10-stop dog trial thing.
Sure.
And the story he told when he got back is that he got a ride from the Queen in a Land Rover. And we were like, what? You didn't get that's not true. And then he died about 7 years later. And sure enough, we got a letter from the Queen's, the guy that runs the estate. Saying,
Come on. Verifying the story?
The Queen sends her regards to your family, and she remembers finally the time that she drove your grandfather around in the Land Rover around the estate.
Come on, that's a great story, man.
Yeah.
I bet he was in heaven like, I told you. See, now you know I told y'all.
Yeah, but he was very larger than life, and I did a lot of stuff with him. Played golf with him.
Yeah.
Went fishing with him. Hunted with him. One of the favorite stories is my first girlfriend. I was in the 7th grade, I think, and it was around Christmas time, and my parents were out of town, so he's going to drive me to her house and pick me up. So he drops me off at like 6 o'clock, and I've got 2 Christmas presents, and for her, and he said, "I'll pick you up at 9." I was like, "Great." So I go in there. And
Do you remember what the presents were?
no memory, but
It's probably a Brighton bracelet.
And a picture frame.
yeah, exactly.
Of you.
Yeah, of us, for sure, absolutely. A little silver frame.
I got you this picture of us that you took.
It's like
you took on your camera. You sent me.
You're in the picture like your bracelet.
Yeah. So he comes back at 9, and I come out of get in the car, and he's backing out of her driveway, and he goes, "You give her those presents?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "You get you some kisses?" And I said, "No, sir." And he slammed on the brakes. He goes, "Get back in there and get your presents."
kisses.
No, get some presents back.
Oh,
Get him back. No, he was kidding. And then he said he put it back in gear and started laughing at himself.
that's awesome, man.
Man, granddads are the best.
They are.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's where your love of the outdoors and
Yeah, for sure. Definitely came from him. And then as I got into high school, I had a bunch of friends that were hunting, and my brother, who's 5 years younger, got really into it, and he made a different college choice based on hunting. He went to Ole Miss instead, and I went to UT because he wanted to keep hunting all year long.
Hell State.
Yeah, there you go. Well, they all took us to the woodshed the other day, the basketball tournament.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So anyway, so I hunted, all the way through high school, but I was into other stuff too. I was in scouts and was really into backpacking and rock climbing, and
Yeah.
I don't even know your brother, but my favorite thing about him already, I only know one fact about two now that I know he duck hunts. But the other fact is that he introduces you as his dad.
it's true. I mean, we look about the same age,
He's like, "This is my dad."
And we got, especially what he does is we'll go get food somewhere, get dinner, breakfast, whatever. Like a duck hunt, we'll go out to eat lunch after, and waitress will bring the check and say, "Who do I give this to?" And he'll go, "My dad will pick it up."
So good.
That's such a brother thing.
It's
Man.
such a brother thing. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun. We've been, we've been all over the country doing hunting, and I mean he goes to Canada every year. He actually works for Field and Stream now.
Oh, wow.
He's deep into it. And I call him my guide because moving to Nashville and starting music, I honestly lost a lot of the time for hunting.
Sure.
And
everything else.
Yeah, and
It's a part of the sacrifice for sure.
It is. And there's honestly a sadness to that. And growing up in Memphis, you guys are West Tennessee, there was a chip on our shoulder about this town. About Nashville.
No doubt.
I was considered a bit of a traitor for moving here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Nashville has all these great things, but one thing it does not have is good access to great duck hunting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And there's the dirt bagging kind of stuff you can find around here.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go west.
Yeah,
to
you
find
gotta
good,
travel.
Man.
good duck hunting.
Dyersburg.
Yeah, you got to go Dyersburg or Paris, and like get up northwest. And I mean, I know Jackson has some decent stuff, but nothing like what we had in Arkansas and Mississippi. So he's my guide. I just show up a couple times a year and say, where are we going?
Does he write for Field and Stream, or is he?
No, he's like involved on more of the sort of product and marketing side.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
cool. So you still get to hunt a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And then I got into more of these like, kick and shoot quail hunts because they're fun and easy to put on the schedule. And it's just a fun way to go out,
scratch
with buddies and scratch the itch.
Yeah.
I love watching the dog. I mean, watching the pointers work is
that's
just
the whole
like
thing.
Greatest thing in the world.
You an over under guy?
I have one, but when I do that kind of hunting, but no, I mean, I prefer my duck hunt. I got the Bedelli I've had for 15 years.
So
my grandfather's first gun was an old Browning A5.
Mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get some of those guns, some of those is your wall like littered with like Blue Jays and stuff?
No, I have. Well, my wife was not keen on that, so I have one room where they're all sort of quarantined.
Same.
Yeah, but I've got a banded canvasback. And
that you shot?
That I shot.
Canvasbacks are beautiful. We're not duck
banded
hunters. We go a
canvasback?
couple of years. I mean, a couple times a year. But we shot some canvasbacks this year on the Mississippi. And dude, those
I was gonna
things
say like
are
Northwest
gorgeous,
Tennessee.
man.
That's where the habitat for those is.
Really?
Northwest Tennessee.
They're gorgeous.
Off the river. They're beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it January?
Yep.
Yeah. They're kind of a late season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet we played some of the same places because I had a band out of Starkville and we played all over that.
Yeah.
Like that side of, man, I remember I was telling a story the other day. We played, is it Greenfield? Is there a Greenfield, Mississippi or
Greenwood?
Greenwood.
Yeah.
I played
and Greenville. There's two.
Which one
Greenwood.
is Delta?
Greenwood.
Okay. We played Greenwood one time and literally a full 4-hour set, dude. Covers and mixed in with some originals. 3 people in that bar.
Ooh.
The entire time. And then we used to play Grenada, State Studio 55. Did you ever play Grenada? That seemed to be kind of in your area right there. But
Mainly, I played Starkville and Oxford.
we played the Lyric,
Yeah.
played Blue Rooster, played Blue Canoe,
Yeah, there was a place called the Levee.
played the Levee,
Did you play Rick's and all that in Starville?
Yep.
played Riggs,
that's a good spot.
State Theater. I bet we played some in the same place.
Yep.
Is it true that before you and the band started, you moved into a neighborhood and started hanging out with other dads in the neighborhood, and you made a band called Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors?
That's partially true. It was pre any kids.
Okay, I just made that up.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
hoping that was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was the story. That would be a cool
No,
story.
we moved to East Nashville. I mean, when Ellie and I got married, we were living. We were both in Knoxville. Then we got married and moved to Nashville that same week. And the reason we moved to Nashville is because she got a teaching job at Eastlit Magnet School in East Nashville.
Okay.
And we've loved that neighborhood. It was kind of different then,
Yeah.
It was still kind of a little bit sketchy place to live, but we were kind of committed to it. There was a church there that we were a part of as well, and a lot of our friends lived over there. So that's when I started meeting these different folks. There was one guy who I had met in Memphis. It was my guitar player, Nate Duggar, and he was like a senior at Belmont by that point, and still he would play with me on the weekends. And he moved to East Nashville, and then we met this drummer at we had done one of those Third and Lindsay Sunday night shows opening for a guy named David Mead. And this guy came up to me afterwards, and he's like, "Y'all need a drummer. Can I be your drummer?" And he gave me a card, and we needed a drummer 2 weeks later. First show, actually, at the Grove in Oxford.
Yeah.
We got asked to open for Tone Loc.
Nice.
And we neneeded a band. So I cut this card out.
the drummer.
Called this drummer, and turns out he moved to East Nashville as well. So,
Tone Loc.
yeah.
You know who we opened for in Oxford was the Shop Boys, the something shop
Pet
boys.
Shop?
Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest combinations of people at those Oxford things.
Dude, we opened at that over the course of like 6 years. We got asked to do that show 3 times. It was their like Rumble in the Grove is what it was called. It was their back to school concert.
Okay.
And 1 year was Tone Loc. The next year was Digital Underground. And then 2 years later it was the Gin Blossom. No, not Gin Blossom. Goo Goo Dolls.
Oh, yeah.
And the Goo Goo
Hey.
Dolls one. There were probably 10,000 people
Oh,
there.
I bet.
And it was the
Yeah.
biggest show we'd ever played that day.
That's
And I was
sick.
like, all right.
Yeah,
this is fun.
that's the same thing we did. We opened for the Gin Blossoms. We opened for them. We opened for Edwin McCain.
Yeah.
He would play Bulldog Bash. We would be like one of whatever on that show. But what was the Jordan? Can I get a reference on the Pet Shop Boys? What their song? They kept playing it
like multiple times.
Well, they would like
It's
play
like the
a
only
sample.
song that they knew.
So it was the only hit they had.
Right.
And so they would be like, play one song and everybody was like standing there. And then they'd play a clip of,
It's a sin.
no.
sing, girls? What have I done to deserve this?
They had a hit though, didn't they?
I don't know. I just know their name. I just don't know.
Oh,
the
that's it.
music.
You were always on my mind.
Yeah, that was Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's really
Willie
bad.
did a great cover of that.
I'm sure it's really dirty. I may be messing this up. It was some Shop Boys. It was a rap group. Is the Pet Shop Boys a rap group?
No, they're like a duo, an English synth pop duo.
No, it's not the Pet Shop Boys.
It wasn't the Pet Shop Boys.
It's like
No.
Trap Shop Boys or something. I don't know. It was awesome.
Okay, just keep going.
But yeah, they had the most weird array of artists at those
Yeah.
big
There was
bash.
another-
Did y'all do Bulldog Bash? I'm
We
sure.
never did Bulldog Bash. We did something else there called the Island Jam or something like that. It was out in the oh man, I'll never forget. We did a fraternity party one time in Mississippi at Mississippi State. Y'all are gonna be offended by this, but I think you'll appreciate it. So this fraternity was like upset about our rider because they were like, "Why do you need towels?" And I'm like, "Because we need to take a shower." So
That's what you draw
so
off
they
with after a
so
shower.
they go get towels, and it was like a bunch of like their beach towels. And so we apparently like accidentally took a couple of them with us in our bus because it was whatever.
Towels,
it's
man.
just towels. We're just
Towels.
just some towels.
Throwing them all, throwing them
And so a couple weeks later, this is when Twitter was at its zenith, and I made this comment on Twitter about how Chili's is the worst restaurant in America.
I second that.
Okay, I just think it's disgusting. I just don't like Chili's.
Applebee's is it for me, but I'm
the-
okay.
Applebee's the worst?
The worst. I'm
Yeah,
okay with
they
Chili's.
they at least like have a chicken and broccoli like don't kill you thing at Applebee's.
What do you mean don't kill you?
Well, like all the food at Chili's is like you're gonna have a heart attack.
That's true. That's true.
their meat queso is fire.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I said I made this
Going
comment.
down.
It was a hot take. I was trying to get some
Yeah, sure.
get some
Yeah,
action.
rub it up,
you know?
Riling it up. If you
And,
don't stir the pot, the sauce is
And
going
this
to burn.
this guy from Mississippi State writes back, "Your concert at Mississippi State was the worst concert ever, and you stole our towels." And so I just wrote back to him, "Well, to be fair, Chili's probably is the best restaurant in Starkville."
Nice. Got it. I love
Well
that.
played, man.
Got him.
Well
You know,
played. Yeah.
can't let those college kids get after you,
You
like
can't
that.
let them.
Absolutely not. Because they'll try.
They'll try.
They're going to try.
I mean, they're going to take a cheap shot at the guy that stole their beach towel.
I love that y'all stole them.
No, we don't even mean to. It was
Yeah, just threw 'em in the van.
Yeah, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell one then on Ole Miss. So we played the same venue with it wasn't Pet Shop Boys. Maybe just like the Shop Boys. I can't remember what it was. They had one hit. It was a rap song.
Was it the Beastie Boys? No, I'm just kidding.
I wish. I wish.
Beach Boys.
And so we start putting
Shop boys party like a rock.
Party Like a Rock Star. Remember Party
Nailed
Like a
it.
Rock Star? Party Like a Rock
jam.
It was
Party like
not
a-
a jam.
Dude,
It
back in
feels
the
like
day,
it was
it's
a jam now but it was honestly like totally, dude. Remember they do that?
Yeah.
So they'd play an intro of a song. Thank you. Appreciate you finding that. And then they go,
Do you feel validated right now?
so
Because I was
validated.
like, I think he's making something up here.
No,
I don't know.
dude, I'm not.
I don't know about this man.
But
Don't
they
let the truth get in front of
But
a good
imagine
story.
having one hit, right? Because I'm pretty sure that was it.
Yeah.
Only one hit. And then you had to play like 9 other songs. So they would play a song. Their DJ would hit the thing. They'd rap a little bit. Nobody cared. And then they go, party like a...
And the crowd
Everybody
would go
get- everybody
crazy.
get-
and then they
yeah.
go to do another song. And the crowd would be like, oh my gosh. We're gonna get... And so they finally, of course, saved it for the very, very end. Played Party Like a Rock Star. Anyway, it was a crawfish bowl. We eat all these crawfish because they're like, don't take anything off the stage. We want to... Because they didn't have anything. So it would have looked empty if we had taken all our equipment off. We start looking. It was a 80s Stevie Ray Vaughan Strat. Gone, dude. Gone. We can't find it anywhere. We're looking like my butt. It was Jamie's guitar. He's just tore up. Like he's
course
spending
he
like
is, yeah.
life savings on this guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most valuable thing he owns.
So we go back to Starkville. We get a call from a guy that that liked our band the next day. He found it under a van in the parking lot of the fraternity.
There's like a naked guitar under slid
Somebody
under.
had grabbed it, taken it, slid it under the van, was gonna like come back and get it or whatever. He finds it, and I mean, there's like some nicks and scratches on it.
But you got it back.
But he got it back, so that even makes it cooler. But Yeah, I want to talk trash about Ole Miss fraternities, but I can't because we made so much money on
Yeah,
it.
That's why we played them. They paid good.
they had some dollars.
They had some dollars over there for sure. And the Grove's fun. I can't deny that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, my siblings both went there, so I like to give them a hard time. But it's a cool town.
Yeah, it's a cool town.
But there's my favorite sort of story from that era of touring was we were playing somewhere and we were just a 4-piece at the time and no keys, and so this drunk guy keeps yelling, "Play piano, man."
Play piano, man.
And I'm like,
There's no piano.
and this was like a ticketed show. It wasn't like a cover song gig. And I was like, that's cool, man. We're not gonna play that.
That's funny. Good
And
job.
we did it
Good
like
piano.
we did it like 3 or 4 times. He's like, "Play piano, man." Finally, I just looked at the band. I was like, "Let's just tell him we're gonna play Piano Man, and then we'll play our next song." So I did. I was like, "All right, this next song is called Piano Man." He's like, "Hell yeah!" And he goes back to the bar, and we just played the next song in our set.
That's great. That's a great way to do that. That's a great way to do that.
And he never said it again.
Never showed back up.
No, it was it. He thought he got Piano Man. You know, he was like eyes closed, hammered.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Did you get asked to play weddings early
yeah.
on?
For sure, all
Yeah,
the
a
time.
million. Okay.
Yeah.
So we hated doing them, of
Same.
course. Yeah, so we were like,
So much
But
pressure.
Yes.
Pay good. Pay good.
well, we would outprice them, right? We'd be like, we ain't doing this for less than
And then sometimes they come back and say, "We'll pay it," and you're like, "All right, well,
yeah.
for that money, it's worth it."
Exactly.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's where we were at this point in our career. So we're driving to Jackson, Mississippi. That they have sent us the CD, the lyric sheet of the song that we're supposed to play for the daddy-daughter dance, right?
Oh.
So we're like, okay.
What's the song? Is that part of the story?
Oh, I have no idea.
okay,
I have
okay.
no idea. But we didn't know it then.
Butterfly kisses.
Yeah, well, it was something mildly obscure. Otherwise, we would have known it, right?
He even closed his eyes for it too.
You close your eyes
I
when you sing
did.
that.
Yeah, he did. He got into it.
That's all I know of that song. Do you know any more of that song?
Oh yeah. Something about because it says, "Walk me down the aisle, daddy." You know, there's some like cheesy.
God. That guy's probably still making bank, whoever wrote that
Yeah.
song.
Oh, no doubt.
dude. All right, anyway. So they give us this record. We put it in the CD player. We're like, man, we got to listen. Because you never listen to the songs until the day of the gig, right?
Right.
So we're driving down there. Well,
Which is what we did with your song, Hung the Moon.
As we're going down
Yeah.
45, dude, something pops in his truck. And we look back and, dude, there's like a black box and some parts coming out of his Ford Explorer, right? So
On the way to the gig.
Ford Escape, sorry. On the way to the gig that we're already late for.
Yep.
So his granddad comes and picks us up. We jump out of the car. We're like, our band is already like playing some stuff. We're not even there yet at the and this is like super nice place in Jackson, Mississippi. This person's probably going to eventually hear this story and be like, yeah, it was my wedding.
I knew it.
So we come running in. Well, he's like, before we get there, he's like, man, we got to listen to that song. And I was like, we left it in the broke car, you know. So now we have never heard this song.
And you don't have the reference.
And
for
we
it.
don't have the reference, but we have the lyric sheet.
Oh my gosh,
So, and there's no like
I'm so nervous.
internet-y.
You know where it's going, though.
Internet-y stuff at that. I mean, you can't just like Google. You know what I mean? You had
Yeah.
Anyway, so we pull up this gig and we run in. And it's like daddy-daughter coming in. So we have the lyric sheet. So my buddy just sits the sheet and then just plays like 1-4-5 and sings the lyrics. And as they're dancing, like as the daughter and the dad are dancing, she's going like, I don't think this is the right song. And he's like, what? She's like, this doesn't. And I'm seeing it. I'm like, you know, we're just kind of making up melodies and getting through this thing. So
It's
It-
interpretive,
dude,
you know?
somewhere there's a video of this, you know, because you know it was filmed,
Yeah.
right? So the
Yeah,
dad
that's
is like,
their wedding. Every
the
time they watch
dad
the
is
wedding
hot
video.
as shit, dude. He's mad, right? So he's like, he comes up after that. He's like, hey, we sent that CD 3 months ago. That was the wrong song. And at the time, one of our buddies acted like our manager. We didn't have a manager. He ran up and he was like, hey, what's the problem here? And he was like, well, they played the wrong song. And he was like, he picks up the lyrics sheet. He's like, are these not the words? And the guy was like, well, yeah, those are the words. He was like, this artist interpretation, you got a 1 of 1 artist interpretation on your song. And like just completely, and he goes,
Once in a lifetime.
he goes, well,
service.
that's right.
I
It
guess
should
I
be-
wasn't thinking of it like that. He's like, what kind of music do you like, man? He's like, well, I'm a Boston fan. He's like, you want to get up there and sing More Than a Feeling? He was like, yeah, I do. We played More Than a Feeling. They paid the bill and everything was perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Completely wrong song.
Sir, do you want some karaoke?
And we're like, he was like, more than a We're like,
Loosened up his tie doing the thing. Yeah.
yeah, man, it was. Those weddings are tough, dude.
They're tough. Like the thing now, it's like people.
I want to know if you had to play a wedding right now in Little Rock, and they said, "Hey, man, we want you to come do one song during the service. We want you to do Daddy Daughter Dance and that whatever the other one is, and then
The first dance.
first dance, Daddy Daughter Dance, and then
The song.
three or four to get out of there. What are you charging right now? Because I know with kids at this stage in the game,
Is this me by myself or with the band?
absolutely nope by yourself.
Yeah, it's $50K.
Heck yeah. Dude, worth it at that point.
I got a funny story about this. So I don't really love singing the anthem, but I'll do it because like nothing to gain, everything to lose.
Absolutely.
And I have flubbed it once in my life. Thankfully, it was when I was young and nobody knew who I was. But
So did Reid.
High school basketball game.
yeah, mine was the high school basketball game
I
too.
faked the cough after
I went, and the Rockets' red glare. And the Rockets' red glare.
Give yourself time
Yeah,
to
I
try
was
to
like,
figure it
where
out.
is it? Just keep running.
Where's it go? Where does it go?
And my mom, who's like a nervous laugher, I can hear her in the stands. It's like 500 people. She's like, and I'm like, awesome. Thanks, mom.
Thanks, Mom.
So I had like this scar tissue about the anthem, but finally decided to get back in the saddle when the Preds asked us to do it for a playoff, and I was like, all right, that's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah,
You
gotta
do
say
that.
yes to that.
And then we've done it for the Grizz like a couple times, and so this year we did the Titans last game of the season, and they were like, we can give you box seats for your kids. I was like, all right, that's worth it. It'll be fun. It's Christmas Eve game. So my friend Nate Bargatze, the comedian,
Hilarious. That is hilarious.
he's so
He's
funny.
genius. Yeah.
He does the sword and the stone moment where they bring out like the 12th man thing, and so we're sitting in the box, and I was like, you kind of had the easier gig for the free tickets tonight, And he's like, yeah, I mean, just pull the sword out, I was like, so what does it cost me to what's it going to cost the world to get you to do the anthem at the Titans game? I was like, $1 million, and he goes 10.
10?
He's like, I'm not singing. I mean, he's making a joke. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not singing the anthem.
Man, listening to your music, there's just an overall sense of like a zest for life in it.
Sure.
When you listen to it, what well do you draw from that? Like where does that inspiration come from for you?
I mean, a lot of it comes from family. Like my dad had this mentality growing up, again, because I think I told you all earlier about my brother had these special needs, and we knew that we weren't going to have him for a full lifetime. So there was this sort of conviction that came from the top down in our family that life is short and it's hard, and the way to beat it is to go after it hard.
Yeah, man.
So I went to 46 states by the time I graduated high school.
Really?
With my family. We had an old conversion van that had a lift in it. And for spring break and summer break and Thanksgiving break, we hit the road.
Y'all went.
We went.
He made it a point to take your brother.
And so we
you guys
go
to-
out and we're
That's
like on
awesome.
the way to Colorado, and we stop at this horse ranch in Amarillo to do like a trail ride. And they're like, we can't take the handicapped kid. And he's like, yeah, you can. He throws him in the backpack and he rides the horse with him in the backpack.
Yes, man.
We go skiing. He finds what mountain has the place where the guides can take the kid in the seat with the arm skis.
Right.
Oh, come on, man.
And
Living.
like just life is hard, so get after it. Don't sit and wait around on it. And so that sort of spirit came from my dad, and I also talked earlier about my grandfather. Came from him as well. And then I just had like an insatiable curiosity within myself. I was kind of an explorer. I wanted to go see stuff. I wanted to go like in the woods behind the neighborhood, and
Yeah.
there's a snake. Well, don't run away from it. Try to pick it up.
Yeah.
Like just little mentalities that kind of were ingrained in me at a young age, through family, through scouts, through sports, through chasing the girl you're interested in, and just like all the little things that kind of taking risk. I was a risk taker from the beginning. And even choosing to do this job is very
Absolutely.
it's a risk.
Absolutely.
You got everybody in
Odds are against
high
you,
school
man.
and college are like, you're going to do what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we dealt with that
You know?
too.
And
Well
everybody's
built.
not done. Very few people believed in me early on. thankfully, the two that really did were my parents. My mom had some questions because she was like major. Like I don't think my mom had ever been in a bar in her life. She's like, "You're in a bar 3 nights a week now playing music. This is hard for me."
Yeah.
But I trust you, and so I'm like, I'm gonna be in your corner, but I need to know what's up here.
Yeah.
And promise me you're always. She's like, I need to always know that I can understand the lyrics. She's like, I hate it when singers are like, hell yeah, yes,
And the Rockets.
yeah. And the Rockets.
One more time. Rockets, red glare.
So there was just this spirit of, and then when my brother passed away, music was the thing that got me through that. You know, I was sitting in my Jeep and just listening to Van Morrison records and David Gray and George Strait and just feel, you know.
Yeah, man.
And it just made life kind of make sense. And so when I started writing, I think it just kind of comes out of me. I've always wanted to be able to carry the tension that of like joy and sorrow in music, and I think all my favorite artists do that. I think the magic feeling in any great song is ache, and not necessarily like you
Ick, is that what you said? I-C-K?
A-C, ick, yeah. But like there's ache in Katy Perry's Firework and the way she sings it, you know. It's not just like
Interesting.
I'm not talking about sadness. I'm talking about like passion and like feeling.
Something moves you.
You believe it,
Right.
You sing it because you mean it, and so that's sort of been a driving force in my music. And I think it comes out. It can come out in a quiet song like American Beauty, or it can come out in a song like Dance with Everybody, which is like a big anthem or family. So I just I don't know. It's the fact that music has worked for me is very much gravy. Because my goal when I started was I want to sell out the old Third and Lindsley, right? And I want to sell out the High Tone in Memphis, both of which are 250 cap venues.
Yeah.
And so the fact that now
New Daisy was it New Daisy?
New Daisy,
I played
for sure.
there, man.
Yeah. I was like, if I could play these venues that I grew up going to see shows,
I've made it.
Then I've made it. And the fact that it's gone way beyond that is just gravy. Now it's still hard.
Yeah.
I still have doubts about it all the time, like all of us do. And still, sometimes when I sit down and write a song, I go, I don't know if I'm really actually good at this.
Right.
But then, when I'm finished and I do write a good one, I'm like, oh,
I'm
yes,
still pretty great. This ain't no hobby.
This ain't no hobby.
I don't need practice. You're talking about practice.
In American Beauty, you compare her eyes to canyons. Was that an inspired thing, or are you just like, I'm going to put the coolest thing I can think of in here to make my wife love me?
Well, that song's not about my wife.
Oh,
so
ouch.
Yeah, that's about the one that got away. That's like the high school love.
Sorry, Ellie.
It's all right. She's got plenty of songs about her. She can
She'll
can just embrace the fact that one of my best songs is not about her.
Yeah,
you know,
Cheyenne, my wife loves I don't tell her anymore which ones are and are not about her. She's like, hey man, as long as the check keeps coming, I don't care who they're about.
Yeah, that's right.
We're past the point of being
about all your
about.
exes, man. I'll just laugh.
It's
in
all
their face.
good. Yeah, totally. So that song it's a cool story. It's kind of really shows my writing process. That little riff, I had been one of those riffs. Every time I pick up a guitar, it was like just there for like a year. And I stole a writing habit from. It's kind of a mixture of John Prine and Jeff Tweedy from Wilco. John Prine used to say he would go get a newspaper, and he would try to find like 30 words in the paper. He wasn't even really reading the newspaper. He's just like looking for words. So for me, like canyon or companion. And then then when you're done with the 30 words, then you go find 3 words that rhyme with all 30.
Whew.
So you got 120 little tools, right?
Key bank thing.
Yeah. And you put them in a journal and keep all that stuff on the left side, and then the right side's for putting it all together. So it's like puzzle pieces on the left, puzzle on the right.
Wow.
So one day I was just sitting there and had that riff, and I was like, let me finally sing something to this. And I pulled that journal out, and this was companion, canyon, something else. She was a good companion. Originally it said with eyes like the Grand Canyon, and I played it for the band, and my drummer said, like, they all loved it except for my drummer Marcus at the time. And he goes, I don't know, what do you mean with thighs like the Grand Canyon? And I was like, no man, with eyes like the Grand Canyon. He's like, I think you need to get rid of the with. So she was a good companion. Eyes like the Grand Canyon. Because in other words, she was a good companion. Thighs like the Grand Canyon.
Oh, because the TH come
with
off
eyes.
the
With eyes.
What do you mean with thighs?
So that's kind of
thighs
like, that's sort of how that one came about. And it was very quickly like, oh, this is a song about like you know, the one that got away, the unattainable one.
Yeah.
That your first love that absolutely broke your heart, which taught you how to how to feel.
Had to ride a hard,
Which
ride
is
a
interesting
song.
because like my mom heard the song because there's this metaphor about shots fired, you know, and my mom was like,
Loaded guns,
she's
stuff.
like, yeah, that's a sad song. Is that a song about suicide? And I was like, what? No,
Mom's got to chill, dude.
Yeah.
All moms,
Gotta
y'all got to
chill.
chill, dude. We're not talking about
But
that stuff.
then the song got used.
And we're not playing in bars. They're
I know.
bar and grills. We don't drink.
There's food.
Yeah, it's food there. It's Applebee's, pretty much. Nobody gets drunk there.
But then, right when the song came out, Dick's Sporting Goods picked it up for their big Christmas commercial, and it was a song about a dad like giving his daughter this basketball goal, and then she grows up over 45 seconds. She grows up and drives away to the line. I wish I'd held her. I wish I'd held her longer.
Get out of here.
And my daughter was 1 that year. She's now 11. And so I'm watching this commercial going, my song, I didn't know it was about this. And now I'm sobbing. I need a basketball goal.
You got one now, don't
I got one for sure.
I'm already like trying to manipulate my daughter into never leaving my side. I'm like, you never leave her.
Same.
You love your daddy, right?
Same.
I would love nothing more that my daughter's very, very smart. I would love nothing more that for somehow when she's like in her 20s, we're in business together.
Oh yeah.
You know, somehow, I don't know. She wants to like
that's a good
open a
way to keep 'em
restaurant or
around.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I'll fund your dream.
If I'm your
if
partner.
I'm your partner.
If you give me
not
half the
weird
business.
way.
Yeah.
In a daddy way. Yeah, man, those little girls, dude. Like my son, he's wild. I tell, there's such a difference between the two of them, right? And I'm not gonna dad you to death, but the most recent one is that I try to get him outside as much as I can. If I told this, I don't know. Anyway, we're walking through this field the other day, and I'm picking up big rocks like as we're walking, and I'm slinging them down the hill because I don't want to hit them with a bush hog. Like with the grass is real low now, so I'm picking them up, throwing them. My daughter never even gives a second thought to what I'm doing, or she's chasing butterflies and skipping through the field, you know, whatever. Finally, my wife is like, "Where's Boone at?" I was like, I don't know. We look back, and he's like 30 yards behind us, and he is in full like world's strongest man squat mode,
Trying to move a boulder.
and he's got this rock that's about like this. It's probably going to go 6, 7, 8 pounds. He's this tall, dude. Like
little
foot
man.
and a half. Yeah, he's 1.5 years old. Right? Are they 1.5? Almost 2. So he's going like
I'm
pressing
determined.
this
Yeah,
rock.
he's gonna
up, and he goes,
throw the rock.
he goes, "Da-da." And I was like, yeah,
Yes.
man. I said, good job, buddy. And then Shine was like, we're going to have the first like 1.5-year-old with like a blown disc in his back from lifting stuff up. But it's just the total, like, extremely different as far as having both and seeing them come up. But dudes want to pick rocks up and throw them, man.
They do.
You know?
I have 2 boys, and it's interesting because one of them is very much like that. Our baby boy is an absolute, we call him Hulk. I mean, he's just like wild. And then our middle one is way more like cerebral. And I mean, it's interesting because he like, from 1 to 5, I could not get him to pick up a ball.
Really?
And then all of a sudden, he turns 5, and all of a sudden, he is like sports.
Wow.
It's like something clicked. But then he's also like in, reading Harry Potter, and he's like, don't talk to me while I'm reading, Dad. I'm reading.
I like
And then
that.
my daughter, I'm a pilot. I love to fly.
What?
And
You're a pilot?
Sick.
my daughter is like the best co-pilot. What is that? What does that mean? Can I do this? Can I ask the radio guy? Like, she's like,
So you're
super
flying with
curious.
your kids and stuff?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Feel good about it? Not
Yeah.
nervous? Or not?
No. I mean, I get like appropriately nervous.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah, I do know.
yeah. But it's interesting because they're all so different. Whereas the third one, he's not allowed to fly with me because he's going to crash the plane.
He's going to turn it off.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, what's this button? Click up, engine's off.
Engine's going.
Figure it out,
The
Dad.
only way he's loud with me is Ellie's with him and they're in the back seat and he's got a seatbelt on.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
don't let him touch anything.
Hands to yourself.
Yeah. Get the iPad. Yeah. I need him to be distracted.
I was burning a big burn pile out in our pasture the other day, and I showed on the tractor. There's a gear shift that you maneuver the bucket with, and there's a little button on it, and it ramps the RPMs up if you need to. Dude, he found that button. He's going, wah, wah, wah. He's looking at my wife. He's like, he go, wah, 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 wah.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
just, hammering that RPM button, man. They're different, dude.
I'm taking my boys this summer on a UTV trip in the desert.
Sick. Where you going?
Kind of around Zion and Bryce Canyon in
on.
Utah.
Yeah, man.
That's
It's a bunch of dads there's a company that does these trips, and it's a 4-day camping. You have to put your cell phone in a lockbox.
Come
leave.
on.
And so you have 4 straight days in the summertime with your kids, going to swimming holes, driving these UTVs 60
Bro,
miles an hour through the
I'm
desert.
in. I want to get that.
Yeah,
I want to get
I'll
the
send you
information
info.
on that. 'cause
Yeah, it's called
that,
Wilderness Collective is the company.
God,
I've done 2 or
awesome.
3 of the trips. They have motorcycle trips too, dirt bike trips. The last time I did that, I broke my wrist, so I'm not doing that one anytime soon.
Nice.
Yeah, but they're like for a kid, just trying to find like that thing of like talk about my dad. I want to, especially because I'm gone a lot with touring. I have to be super intentional about
Absolutely.
where do I really dig in to create sort of core memories and experiences with my kids, because this is such a weird life.
Yeah, man.
Music is a weird life.
Yeah.
Agreed.
How was taking them on the road with y'all?
Oh, it's awesome. They love it. I
Really?
mean, we one of the reasons my wife quit the band, 11 years ago was because we were still in a Sprinter and we had a baby.
Yeah.
And,
Tough.
our daughter was in a Sprinter van 180 days of her first year.
My God.
It was brutal.
Right.
Thankfully, since then, we've graduated into the buses, and they love being on the bus. They sleep great. They wake up in a new town. We've got 8 hours to kill before
Adventure.
We got adventure, yeah. So
Yeah.
we wake up, we find a children's museum or a park or whatever. Go find something to do, and they love it. And I think it's getting tricky with school, taking them out, but we're trying to dream up this big year-long RV trip where we take them out of school for a year and homeschool and see everything. And I don't know if it'll work or not. We want to test it first for like 3 weeks, because if it's hell, then we're definitely not going to do it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think even hunting, like my daughter's not really that interested in it. She's kind of like anti touching animals and all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
But my son's like, all right, Dad, when do I get to go? So this year I got him to shoot a 410 a couple times, and he didn't mind. He didn't love it.
Right.
So I was a little.
410's a great gun.
Wait, how old is he?
He's 8.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm wondering what the age
I
is.
feel like
where
I don't remember. I think I was like 10 or
I'm
11
gonna
when I
say
got my
was-
first shotgun.
I was at least, I'm going to say 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Shooting the 410, you think?
I was
Yeah,
shooting. I
just
got a
because-
20 when I was probably 12, and the first duck hunt I went on, I dropped it in the water.
Nice.
And my grandfather was not super happy.
I
about
love
it.
that, dude.
Yeah, he's like, you just dropped your new shotgun in the water. I was like, it's 15 degrees, and I would rather
And I'm
be in
8
bed.
years old.
Animate. So
Yeah.
My
I
hands
was
are
12.
tiny and freezing.
Yeah,
I'm thinking rabbit hunting was probably the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
shotguns that we were like
Those
totally.
yeah.
those are
I went
410s.
squirrel hunting when I was probably a 10.
Yeah.
That was the first time.
And
I shot
410
an
is
animal.
the gun. That's the gun to introduce a kid to.
Yeah, there's this duck hole in Arkansas that I've been privileged to go to a couple times. Very well managed, high end place that crushes the mallards. They have this hole called the 410 hole, and you can only shoot a 410.
That's awesome.
In this hole, because the mallards come in your face, and it's
sounds
like
awesome.
I've only done it once, but it was one of my favorite hunts. But you gotta be shooting good.
Yeah. You there was a post Jordan sent it to me. It was a long post you made about you're going to take some time to slow down a little bit. Can you let us into that mindset a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel it. So I'm 41. I'll be 42 in May. I have gone as hard as I can for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm independent. I'm sort of like genre homeless. I'm country adjacent, but I'm not a country artist. I'm not a rock artist. I'm like this Americana folk songwriter thing. And so that's required a lot of extra effort on the marketing side, because there's not really there's not a obvious home for me. And I've been thankful to be sort of like associated with all these different sort of genres and stuff, but we're independent. So I've had to go hard, both as an artist, as a songwriter, and as kind of a business owner. That's one thing people don't tell you when you start a music business, that you start a music career, that you're also starting a business.
1,000%.
All of a sudden I get booked for this first real festival, and they're like, send me your general liability policy. And I'm like, send me my what? And they're like, they go get one. They're like, yeah, it's $2,000 a year. And I was like, wow, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting
Absolutely.
into. So anyways, that gone hard for a long time. And I feel like I've reached a nice point where I could probably draw back 30-40% of my touring and still be plenty busy enough, but be home more. And I want to go camping with my kids. I want to go duck hunting with my kids. And so much of our work is on the weekends, 'cause festivals and private events. Our work is other people's play.
Yep.
1,000%.
You know,
No doubt.
and so that's a tricky dynamic with a family. And so just learning to say, like, I don't necessarily need to play Des Moines on a Tuesday anymore. I mean, I love Des Moines out there. If you're out there in Des Moines, if y'all bring more people to the show, it'd be a Friday night show.
Nobody listens to us from Des Moines. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you could bring out the number of people that Minneapolis brings,
Oh,
Yeah,
here we
Des
go.
Moines.
I'll come out on a.
Get it together.
I'll give you a weekend night.
Jeez.
That's great.
But yeah, it's just a matter of like pulling back some. The metaphor I used in the post was I've been going 90 in the left lane for 20 years. And it's time to go like 71, 72 in the right lane.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, good for you.
I
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
that.
good for you. I do too.
I get it. I get it a lot. Oh, yeah. Sorry. See, how will I do it today to sound like you? I'm sure that was important. That thing you had to say.
It was.
It's part of the show.
It's time for part of the show. Yeah, whatever.
For the one.
Get away.
Time for the show.
I love it.
Thanks.
The one that got away.
Do it.
Last time I duck hunted with my grandfather, we had 19 ducks. There's 4 of us hunting. Limit was 5. He's like, all right, Drew, you get to kill the last duck. Brick.
Whiffed.
Brick.
Never happened.
Never happened. We
man.
we left the
I was
hole.
hoping that there was
We left the hole with 19 ducks.
The last time?
I love that, man. That's so great.
That's going to go
that's
top
so
3.
great.
Now, I will say earlier in the hunt, I solo shot a black duck, the only one I've ever
Okay.
shot in my
Oh,
life.
yeah.
So there was some redemptive nature to it, but I was like, oh, okay, last duck. Bang. Shoot. Bang.
Everybody's watching.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That is
we were hunting with this guy. We were hunting with this guy named Joe Christian from Arkansas, and he had a dog named Winchester. Winchester was his name. Winchester.
Winchester.
And he was a Chesapeake lab, and that dog was so ready to get that 20th bird. He was just looking at me
Just like,
disappointed.
come
like,
on,
if he had a
bro.
middle finger, he'd
Hit
have been
something,
flipping,
dude.
something,
You just hit it. I'll go get it. I'll go find it.
God, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, there's a lot to unpack on that, but that's really good.
All right, now we're gonna do gravorite song for you, Drew Holcomb.
man, I like a lot of songs.
We're doing a playlist.
Yeah.
So far, none of them have been the same as anybody else. So we're going to put up this giant playlist of everybody's favorite gravorite song.
All right. So if I'm like,
It's just to you.
just to me.
To you, man. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be the greatest song of all time.
I mean, this is sort of embarrassing, but the song that absolutely kills me every time I hear it is "Nothing Compares to You," Sinead O'Connor.
Ooh,
Okay. That's out of the genre.
Out of the
I'm
genre.
with you.
I'm gonna give you another one.
Okay.
For the
No,
playlist.
that's good. I like that.
I didn't
one.
know that Prince wrote that song until I was like 10 years old.
R.I.P. Sinead O'Connor.
I know, and Prince.
and Prince.
And Prince,
All right,
yes.
Pete, 2
All
times.
right, so that's probably the one that always makes me cry, but that's not what you asked.
By the way, when you were talking about the 3 artists that you listened to, it was Van Morrison. Who's the other one?
David Gray.
George Strait.
You dropped
George
George
Strait.
You don't have to do that because we're a country podcast. You
No,
know
no,
that,
I'm
right?
listen. Hey, I love George Strait. If you put on like
It felt a little forced,
how
man.
about them
You know-
cowgirls, or I Can Still Make Cheyenne.
Yeah, dude.
I never forget. I was on a dove hunt with my grandfather and my cousins, and I didn't like country music in middle school. I was like, why are we not playing Nirvana?
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
You know, like
Same.
what's
rock.
going on?
No, same.
You know, but then they're like, who sang the Every Light in the House?
Tracy
is on?
Atkins,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, and I was like, man, that song hits, you know? So I was sitting in the back seat, and I was 12, maybe 13, and this girl
Lincoln and the town.
no, I was in the back of my cousin's Bronco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Different car than my grandfather. And his name was Chuck. He was an offensive tackle for Germantown High School, and I thought he was the king of the world.
Probably a giant.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I'll never
Cousin
forget.
Chuck.
I never forget. I went to a rival middle school, like Houston Middle, Houston High, Germantown Middle, Germantown High, and they won they both made it to the regional championship, and Houston beat Germantown, my cousin. So it was a Sunday church dinner at my grandparents. He pulls up, and I go, "Who are we? Houston. Who did we beat? Germantown." And he goes, "Who are you? 5 years old. What did you do? Nothing."
And he was right.
And,
Salty,
and I was
he's right.
like,
man, I am
touche.
Bob.
I didn't think about
No,
that.
so I'm in the
done
back seat.
anything.
I'm in the back seat of his car, and I had this girl that I really liked. That somebody got word to me that she didn't like me. You know, it was heartbreaker.
Heartbreak.
Yeah. Sorry
And all of
about
a sudden, he's playing his country music in the car, and I hear, telephone rang about 8:45. I heard her voice on the other end of the line. Heard his voice, and I can still make Cheyenne. And for whatever reason, even though I wasn't a rodeo person or
you got you.
whatever, but that heartbreak song, I'm in the back seat. The first time I cried to a country song was on the way back from a dove hunt. And I'm just like, oh man,
He's speaking my story.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, I guess I like country music. The next day, I rode my bike to Cat's Music and bought a George Strait record and an Alan Jackson record.
No way.
Absolutely.
That's a cool. That turned out cool.
Yeah, so I can still make Cheyenne is one that always gets me.
Yeah, let's cut Sinead out. We'll go with that one.
Yeah, cut
kidding.
Sinead out for
I'm
sure.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. They're both great, dude. Thanks for coming and hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for
with
having
us.
us. Fun.
That was fun.
You guys are good
man.
time.
Are we going to do the granddad ghost thing?
Well, I mean, sure.
Is it a good story or is it like
Well, it's not a true story, but it's a good.
Doesn't matter.
It made
Nothing-
for a
nothing
good song.
yeah,
Nothing
go
on this
for
has
it.
to be true.
I mean, we all carry the people with us, right? You know?
Absolutely.
So I was writing a song with my buddy Zach Williams. He's in a band called the Lone Bellow, and we just got to talking about our granddads for whatever reason, and
Probably because yours was awesome.
yeah, and
Sounds
apparently
like.
his was too. I didn't know his grandfather, but
Granddads are awesome.
they are awesome.
No, always
Yeah.
awesome.
So we started talking about, and I had sort of got this chorus, you know, take a few chances, a few worthy romances, go swimming in the ocean on New Year's Day, sort of all these life things, and then it ended with go slay all the dragons that stand in your way. And it was like, I'm like, who would have said that to me? And he's like, our grandfathers, because we've been talking about them earlier. So I wrote this whole song about, you know, basically being on a camping trip and having like this crazy interaction with your own grandfather. Song called Dragons. It was, I'll never forget. First time I played it was, we do a Christmas show at the Skirmerhorn here in town every year. And it's not all Christmas songs because I would never go to that show. So I said, we got to have 50% non-Christmas or else I'm not doing this
like it.
tradition.
Like it.
Because my wife is like
This
the
Christmas tradition.
yeah, my wife is like the female version of Elf. So she's like, we do all Christmas.
Yeah, all year long.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it's too much Christmas. So we play the song. It's the first time ever in my life we got a standing ovation after the first chorus.
Dang.
Dang.
And there's something about that reality that, you know, the ghost of the people that loved us that everybody carries,
Yeah, man.
you know? And so that's like, that song kind of came out of that whole history of him and my childhood and larger than life. And, you know, in some ways, I'm a little bit like that too. And I hope my grandkids wonder if the stories I'm telling are true.
Yeah. They will.
Because they'll probably be almost true.
Almost.
Yeah.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story, man.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Man, Drew Holcomb, dude, you're awesome.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man. Thanks for
thanks
having
for
me.
coming.
Yeah, thanks for
with us.
coming. This is fun.
Very fun.
I
Y'all,
treated you like we were better friends than we actually are, and I think you took it very well. and I
Well,
appreciate
I feel right at home with you guys.
Good.
So,
Same.
Yeah.
it. Come back.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out in God's country. We'll see y'all next time.